Hey, yeah, Ian here from the Guitar Studio, and today we're looking at this thing, the Art and Lutherie Americana, Canadian made. This is called the Bourbon Burst. It's kind of a mixture between bourbon and maple syrup, really, to me, but it is a lovely looking guitar. So let's have a look at the features. Okay, so some of the features of this. We've got black cherry, pardon me, black cherry back and sides. You know, it's a 3-layer solid laminate. Now, to me, that's a little bit kind of like, is it solid or is it laminate? However, you know, it sounds great. It does sound good, and I mean, you can have a guitar that's not solid anything, and if it sounds good, it's still a good guitar, you know. So, but that was a bit of a kind of a grey area, I thought. Solid laminate. Okay, maybe they just like compressed it down really well, but that sounds great. Solid spruce top select pressure tested. Now, I'm not sure what they did to pressure test it. Maybe they tried to break it or sent it down an alley and pitched it up against 3 thugs to just kind of really pressure test this guitar. What else has it got? silver leaf maple neck. So the wood in the neck is silver leaf maple. Of course, it doesn't look silver; it still looks like maple syrup, really. But yeah, silver leaf maple neck. Maple necks are really nice. I mean, I love maple necks. We've got Graphtec here down at the bridge, and Graphtec here down at up at the nut. So it's kind of like their man-made ivory type of substitute. The nut has really good width to it. To me, it's a really nice feel down here. There's lots of real estate for your fingers. A lot of guitars, it tends to be that if you're not really careful, if you've got bigger fingers, it's really easy to lean them over and touch the other strings and mute them out if you're doing chords down an open position. But this really allows for just a lot of room there. It feels really good. The neck is kind of like a D shape to me, so it's got a really great feeling neck. It's got these cool vintage like open tuners, which are a nice little touch. 95% Canadian woods. I'll put a link in the description, like you do, of all these specs. You can have a read up on them. The electronics here, we've got Godin electronic system, and yeah, so that's basically the specs. It's nice. I really like it. Alright, so pardon me, application of this guitar. Well, it's a medium range guitar, and it's really nicely put together. It's a really good build. So is it an entry level guitar? Yep. If you're wanting to pay the money, and at the time of recording this, it's around I think it's $899 is the ticket price at the Rock Shop, and it stacks up well. It really does. So application, hey, it's a good first guitar if you want to play the money. It's a good second guitar if you're looking to kind of step up from something. You bought something, you know, entry level, and you wanted to step up. Playability is really good. I mean, I'll have a playthrough on a few bits and pieces on it soon, but playability, it plays real nice. So could you gig with it? Yeah, man, absolutely. I would say without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, so application, it's fairly wide ranged, really. Okay, so value. To me, it's a really well built, well spec'd guitar. Value for money, I'd say the price is fair. It's very fair, and in other guitars kind of in its league. You know, you got a lot of Chinese guitars in that sort of price point. And there's nothing wrong with Chinese guitars. Some great quality gear comes out of China. It just depends what you buy. But I would say, you know, value for money, considering it's Canadian made and the specs and the overall playability and the look and feel. It's yeah, man. I mean, I like it. I mean, if Rock Shop was going to give it to me, or if I had $900 and I was in the market for a guitar, hey, look, I'd probably be seriously considering this here. Now, I just want to point out, it has got this here. Now, that's not a mark. That's just where the plastic coating is on the pick guard, you know. So, and I've been playing it, and it kind of wears. It's put on there to protect the pick guard from getting scratched. So, you know, when people buy it, they usually peel that off. That's so that's not a flaw of any description. It's just the plastic coating. But yeah, there you have it. The bourbon maple syrup. No, it's bourbon. It's bourbon burst. Art and Lutherie Americana cutaway. Really nice. Alrighty, so playability and sound. I have a decent play on it soon, but I just want to chat about it. One thing that it does have is that it has these things on it for strings. Lyre tone, and they're really nice. They are nice, there's no doubt about that. They're a coated string, and coated strings you either love them or hate them. My kind of view on coated strings is that if you got a cheaper guitar and you put coated strings on it, it's possibly going to really kind of boost the sound of that cheaper guitar, because it adds kind of like a high mid-range smoothness to the sound. But if you've got a quality guitar, it tends to compress the sound. So, you know, my personal, if this was my guitar, I'd be putting, you know, a nice set of whatever your favorite flavor is of strings, Martin, whatever you like. These are very balanced. It has a really balanced sound. But it's quite compressed at the same time. But it's an easy fix, you know, replace the strings. The cool thing about strings like this is that they are long life. And definitely if you've got a guitar like this in a shop on the shelf, the strings aren't going to go off through just oxidization and tarnishing. You know, they're going to kind of stay halfway decent for a longer period of time. And you know, also from, you know, just having the guitar at home and playability, they're going to last longer. But I think there's a little bit of a sacrifice there in the sense that it compresses the sound, so you don't get that big boomy sound. You know, it's a dreadnought guitar, so it should sound really quite big. And even with a decent strum, the strings really kind of, they hold that sound back, I feel, though they are nice in terms of their balance. So kind of good points, and maybe points that don't let the guitar shine quite as well as what it could, in my humble opinion. So at this point in the proceedings, I decided I'll whip into the pits and do a quick string change. Decided to put some Martin SPs on there because they really do just sound really, really good. And I found the guitar to be really rich in its sound afterwards. Harmonics were awesome, quite bright because of the new strings. It really lent itself to open chords, etc. But yeah, it sounded fantastic. Alright then, so just to wrap and pack this little review on the Art and Lutherie Americana Bourbon Burst Cutaway. Lovely guitar. I've really enjoyed getting to know this guitar and having the opportunity to put it through its paces a little bit. I'd say in that price range, it's a real strong contender if you're in the market for a guitar that stacks up the way that does. I'd like to thank the guys from the Rock Shop for sending it through. As I say, really enjoy getting to know the guitar. If you'd like to find out more about the Guitar Studio, www.guitarstudio.co.nz, and you can subscribe by clicking the thing, and on Facebook, Guitar Studio NZ.